So this motivational speech today on Monday and Thursdays. Subscribe, please. I can't believe I have to pay for 1,000 subscribers. It's so interesting. It's like, does everybody just want to Google me every day? It's quite fascinating, to be honest. Um, but whatever. This is what you guys want to do, then it's okay. Um, Today is about acting. Now, I did acting for about 10 or 12 years. And Ron Strong is intending to be an actor. He's reading acting books from what he said on his YouTube video. I'm quite amazed and happy that he stopped Ron Strong cartel life. Um, it was a fantastic decision he made. Let me see if I can adjust this a little bit. So essentially what takes place is when you go to, I went to Actor Studio in downtown Chicago. Uh, Google that. Um, what it is to be in downtown Chicago acting studio is the most phenomenal experience you'll ever have in your entire life as an actor. In my opinion, acting was born and raised in California. Um, Olympic Improv and Second City, meaning the comedy of acting, was born in Chicago. Hip hop, the the Russell Simmons style of hip hop, the Run DMC style of hip hop came from New York. Um, you know, um, Actor Studio, what it taught me was I was a phenomenal actor a long time ago when I was in my 20s. Because what I did was there was a scene that we had to do by ourselves. It's called monologues. And where you can do it with other people, but I decided to do it by myself for whatever reason. And wait, monologues is by yourself, and I think that one was by myself. I think all of us had to do it by ourselves that day. Of course, there were scenes with other people. So what I ended up doing was this. I ended up sitting down on the couch. Everyone else was just walking around, being frantic, thinking about what they're gonna do next, and memorizing and reading and reading and reading and reading. I decided to monologue improving. And what I decided to do was to get a fake pistol. It was a plastic one that just does a little pop, pop, pop. And I forget what kind of weapon it was. I don't know if it was a 38. I don't know if it was a 9mm. I don't know what the plastic gun was. I knew it had a pink tip on it. So I had to use a black marker to take the pink out. So I did that, made it completely black, kept it in my pocket. And what I did was I went into a zone. And other actors around me were like, what is he doing? Because this guy's not even talking to anybody, let alone reading anything. He's just with his eyes closed on the couch. So then people I kept hearing in the background saying, leave him alone. He's getting into a place. So then I was like, they don't even know what kind of place I'm getting into. I'm getting into a very dark place. And so what ended up happening is all the people were acting. And there's this public person, Vince Acevedo, is a comedian. Vince Acevedo, rather, who is a comedian, and he does cruise ships, and he makes several $1,000s a week. If you want to be a comedian, I suggest you born and raised it in Chicago. If you want to be a comedian being famous, then go to California or New York. If you want to be nice to people, you better pick Jewish people to be nice to and learn how to be nice to Jewish people if you want to get into Hollywood or into New York talk shows, which are all in New York by now, except for I think one is in California, Jimmy Kimmel, I believe. And if you don't live in New York, you don't live in Chicago, or you don't live in LA, it's extremely expensive to live in LA or New York. Chicago is being designed to be extremely expensive as well. But because we don't have the boroughs, we're not going to be like New York because we don't have the millions of people that New York has. Now, if I do this on Instagram, then I don't like that it's like this, and it's live, and then people go on there and do comments, and it gets so distracting. So what I did was I sat down. I, of course, was reading monologues. I was reading scripts. I was reading books. I was going to Actor Studio. I was going to different places to try to get jobs. there was this one place that I went to for this lady that's kind of miniature, and I forget her name, or else I would say that. And she's still in business, from what I can tell. And all it is you have to go in there and do a monologue. And I'm gonna go back to my monologue. You got to go in there and do a monologue. So the monologue I did had two separate people in it, and I took two separate sides of it. And she said, "You need to go to school." I was like, "Damn, I was that bad at acting. Like, I memorized everything, I did everything correct, but I guess she didn't like my vocabulary, my jargon, and my I don't know what she didn't like, but she, if she's a person that hires actors, she knows what she's talking about. She gets you in commercials and gets you in movies, independents as well as above. So I listened to her. I went to Actor Studio. So when I was in Actor Studio, I was trying to become a better actor, and I was disappointed in myself for not being able to get a job. And she called me. She said, "Oh, this is one person that likes you, and they're thinking about putting you on the job. I sent them your whatever it is, and video of something, and she recorded me doing the monologue. And they're like, oh, they thought you were a good actor and they wanted you, et cetera, et cetera." So from there, I did Urban Poet, and I did movie gigs, which I put on my YouTube channel if you want to go to my old videos. And I did one 6-minute one because 6 is my lucky number. And then I did the other one, I think was around 23 minutes, 20 some odd minutes. I love 23 because of Michael Jordan. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking me the weird question, are you afraid of being investigated? And I'm going to answer it right here. The answer is no. The First Amendment was all I go ahead and used for the first thing that got me into trouble. So the Constitution hasn't changed, or else you would see that in the news. I was watching Valley Entertainment, and he was interviewing John F. Kennedy from 58 years ago. I thought it was fascinating. The video was like 2 minutes and something long. That's the owner of the company. I'll be starting with PHP. I feel like I lied to everyone saying that I was going to start it by Thanksgiving, but my dad and my stepmother are extremely frugal. Extremely frugal. They're very good with their money. And so I'm on disability. I don't have the money to start PHP life insurance. Is it disturbing? Yes and no. It's disturbing because I'm not able to start it, but no, because I'm a positive person that doesn't quit. So I'm thinking about selling cigarettes with my sole proprietorship, which will turn into LLC based off of what my accountant said, who I trust, born and raised family member. When I say born and raised family member, the reason I say that is because he's not a family member. But I went to CCH and worked with his son, who's another public figure. He plays the timbales, and if I knew his name, I would say it right now, but he's not trying to be famous like that. He's trying to be on the timbalero. And that might be the wrong way to say it, so I apologize if it is. So how it is I live in an apartment building. Having the history that I have, I was able to meet a lot of bad people that live here. If you're a Muslim, you didn't meet the bad people. If you're an Asian, you didn't meet the bad people, unless it was on the mafia side. There's Italians here, there's Irish here, there's every race here. I highly recommend living at the O'Hare Pavilion. The only problem is that it's Section 8, about a year and some time ago, so that means that people with bad credit and the worst amount of money are able to live here. So those are usually very, very, very arrested people, felons, essentially. So, if you want to live in a beautiful building that has felons, 9 times out of 10, they're OGs. I've never seen game banging kids here. I would know the difference. There's this one guy, Chris, on TikTok. He has this thing called 8 bars, and I know what 8 bars means for rapping. But I'm like real hesitant to do it with him because I just hate that he's a neutron trying to, I guess it's promote us, but I don't believe he's like Russell Simmons. I don't believe he's like the guy that started the Def Jam Records with Russell Simmons, who's basically a yoga practitioner. And, the easy and hard part about that is that you should promote yourself. I should go on a 4,000K follower person and promote myself. So I'm going to do that. I practice on TikTok doing it without swearing. I'm very good at it. I freestyle. I'll just look at a couple items and go from there. When I say items, it'll be like whipped cream, it'll be like peanut butter, it'll be like tortilla chips, it'll be like tortilla strips, and I rhyme off of that. I could rhyme right now. If you guys don't believe I'm a phenomenal rapper by now, then you're blind. So I'm in the couch. I'm just getting into a darker zone. And the sad part is it's easy for me because getting into dark zone is just basically remembering my gang history. That's what makes me extremely suicidal. I just told my father today I felt like jumping off the balcony. I'm so many stories up, and he's like, you should count your blessings. You should remember that you're gonna see your son on Friday, and things of that nature. And he knows I'm suicidal, and when you're suicidal and you're willing to go ahead and let's say commit a crime, if you had to do that one day to save somebody's life, you're willing to do it. You're willing to go to prison, not because you're an MOD, because federal prison sucks. You're not an MOD in federal prison. You're an MOD in state prison. The fact is that when you're suicidal and you intend to hurt a person's health in the extreme way, then that's a nice way to put it. The reason is because you are suicidal. So before you even get locked up, you'll probably just end up killing yourself. I have to constantly remind myself when I get dark is that I have to Facebook message my son. I lost full custody to my ex-wife. To this day, I'm very upset at it. She should have never took her father away from her son, his father away from her son. And that was incorrect. So I'm going to save so much money, save 6 figures, or at least close to it, to fight for full custody because I'm very upset. Now, if she continues to be nice to me, then I will go for 50-50. But she upset me the other day talking to my son. Now, it's one thing that you stole full custody away from me, but it's another thing that you're getting upset with the way I talk to my son. And what I was talking to my son about was having the ability to break a window in case you guys get into a car accident. The smoke will not allow you to breathe. Silence is what kills you. It's not the noise. So basically what it is I just like to check to make sure it's the neighbors. So essentially what happens, or the people that work here. So essentially what happens is, let me skip that. I'm trying to go for 100% custody as long as she keeps me upset. If she doesn't, then I'll just go for 50-50, which is the right way it's supposed to do. The child is supposed to have their 2 parents. I should be seeing my son every other weekend. I should be seeing my son every weekend, to be honest with you, especially if she's dating. Let her have her life. All right, that's a baby. Yeah, people don't get down like that with babies. So essentially what happens is I was getting into a very dark place, back to the couch. And I'm sitting there and it was behind everybody. Everyone's walking around and spitting game, and nobody was rhyming. Everybody was just like seeing if they memorized their scripts, and so they can do their monologue and things of that nature. Not me. I was like, I'm gonna improv it. And improv is improvisation. And so what I did was I'm sitting on the couch the entire time until I get called. And I talked to no one the entire time. Not because I wasn't not a nice person. In an actor studio, you better talk to everybody. You gotta be nice. Especially if you're talking to writers and directors and producers and those that are trying to get up from there. The acting teacher told me that he was making about $25,000 a month from a commercial he did. He doesn't remember how long ago. And I was like, wow, $25,000 a month, or either that or $25,000 a year from a commercial he did decades ago. I could be wrong. I don't know which one it was. I don't recall. So I'm getting to a darker place, and when you're getting into a dark place, you don't listen to people around you. You know, you listen when they talk about you to protect your life, but you don't listen to the things going outside, which is the people doing their monologues. The people watching were usually friends and family and certain directors and certain producers that were seeing if there was any talent that they wanted to go ahead and grab. So 9 times out of 10, it's not producers and directors that can actually put you in a movie right away. The people that could put you in a movie right away, the people in actor studio that say, if you don't get this phenomenal actor, I don't know what you're doing. This guy's phenomenal. You know, that's the kind of conversations they have, because they have agents, they have SAG cards, which is Screen Actors Guild. Um, you know, if you don't go to actor studio, if you don't go to New York, California, or Chicago trying to be an actor, I don't know what you're doing. You learn how to be a great comedic actor at Second City and Olympic Improv in Rosemont, all the way to downtown Chicago. And New York, I don't know how it works there. California, I don't know how it works there either. Now, I'm born and raised in Chicago. I didn't live here for about 5 to 6 years. I lived in a suburb being married. Being married, I was a completely respectful man, 100% honest to my wife. Never ever cheated on her until I got mentally sick. Supposedly, I started cheating on her, and that was a mental sickness, trust me. My wife, I miss till this day. I wish she would just change her mind and say, let me stop dating this man, let me put my family back together, but she doesn't think that's a good idea, apparently. And she told my psychiatrist when my psychiatrist couldn't find me because they called the police on me. So I had called the psychiatrist to make an appointment. They're like, blah, 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 blah. Is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm just in a murderer state, and, you know, I just want my medication. And she's like, okay, let me get your medication sent. I just thought it was normal. So then they sent out the medication and to Walgreens, and I was like, whatever. So then I'm just chilling in my apartment. Next thing I know, somebody's knocking on my door, and I'm wondering who that is. Very few people know where I live, and I was like, um, well, let me answer the door and look through the people, which I keep a band-aid on because I'm very sacred about being safe. I believe you can stick something in the peephole and look into my apartment. I keep stuff underneath the door because I can't stand smelling all the great food that smells from all these Muslims that cook here. It smells phenomenal, and I wish somebody was cooking it for me. I wish I had a girlfriend for stuff like that, so I can cook for her and we can cook for each other. You know, things of that nature. Um, you know, I love to cook Latino stuff, American stuff, you name it. I love to cook it. Um, I've lost about, I was at, this is embarrassing, but I went all the way up to 338 pounds, and now I'm at 278 pounds. So that's what UFC training in the gym and lifting weights and eating well and quitting red meat, which a Jewish man taught me to do, made me lose a lot of weight. And you want to continue to eat red meat, then go ahead, raise your cholesterol, you get a heart attack, and get your diabetes, and get it all in order so you can die the right way, the wrong way. So I'm on the couch. They finally call me up. All I'm doing is getting into a darker place. I'm not memorizing a monologue. So they call me up, and I go up there, and I do not remember at all what I said. I don't remember the scene. I don't remember what I was talking about. I don't know what I was upset about. I just know that I was suicidal, which is easy for me, being suicidal, till this day. And, you know, like being under investigation, if I'm in a public place and someone tries to offend me, I'm not going to let it bother me. I don't let it bother me anyway in normal life. If my instincts kick in that this is really a dangerous situation, the other side of me comes out. So anyway, so I'm in there, and I don't know what the scene is, but I guess I got so dark that when I pulled out the plastic gun and I put it to my head and I just did the click, the regular toy click, people started freaking out when I fell to the floor. There were several women that started crying. There was men saying, should we call 911? And I was like, why the fuck are they saying that? I haven't even fired a real gun. This is crazy. They're like, did that have a blank? Did that have a blank? That's what they were saying. So I was like, man, I must be a good actor. So anyway, from there, I ended up, doing gigs in Urban Poet and commercials. I did Spanish one, rechazado, and which means rejected or something of that nature. And I did Three Penny Opera in Loyola, on the north side off of Sheridan Avenue. Um, that's where you're singing, but you have to be a bad singer for the position I took. And I had two positions in the acting role, but instead, what I decided to do was get into a fight, scrape up my knuckles, and everything like that. Um, so I missed one of the roles. I only had one more role left to be in Loyola Three Penny Opera. Apparently, I love to fight. Um, I'm very malicious. I don't know why, but I am. Um, the martial arts I've trained in my entire life, I still practice to today. The martial arts that I really know, I practice alone in my apartment. Um, I only do UFC training in the gym for working out purposes. You should never ever show your real martial arts ever, 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 ever. Um, you should never even tell people the martial arts you know because it's easy to Google and find out what you do. Um, there's this guy Keith who's probably not public, and I know he worked at gyms to start training martial arts. His goal in life was to go ahead and start a martial arts gym. When I become a multimillionaire, I want to start this martial arts gym because if you ever shake the hands of a real martial artist, I use the word real martial artist, it's like shaking the hand of a man of steel. So I know what it's like to shake Superman's hand because when you talk to a real martial artist, they put their fist against wood, not drywall, wood, and punch it over and over again. One of the examples he will teach me is to start with your hands like this. And I was like, are you homosexual? And he was like, no, start your hands like this when you're fighting. And I was like, but how do you block yourself? He's like, start your hands like this when you're fighting. I was like, okay, so I'm like this. When I was in the psych ward, I almost knocked out the mentally challenged person like 10 times. I almost broke his arm like 10 times because he was making me upset. And they were keeping him around me on purpose. Now I know why, now thinking about it. They were keeping him around me on purpose to see if I would strike him. I would have knocked him out cold. I mean, he would have to go to 911 how hard I would have beat him up. And they would have never got me off of him. So he's like, keep your arms like this. Flip it. Now, when you flip it, you have two options. So you either close your hand all the way, blocking at the same time, or into their eyes. And keep nails long so you can scrape their eyes out. I was like, oh, that's martial arts. Interesting. So, that's just one example of what martial arts teaches you. That's just one example. One example of so many thousands of ways. Yeah, I'm gonna end that there. So then I shoot the gun and I'm on the floor and people are crying and I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. And I get up and I go back to the back because all the other people have to do monologues and it was my time to leave. And they were saying hi and bye to everybody, exchanging numbers, things of that nature, and saying hi to family and friends were saying hi to everybody. So I wasn't allowed to leave because everyone that was in the crowd wanted to talk to me. They're like, are you okay? I was like, how am I not okay? Of course I'm okay. They're like, no, we thought you really killed yourself. Like, we thought you had a blank and put it in your face, like in your head. I was like, you thought I killed myself in front of you? It's like, we thought you killed yourself in front of us. I was like, but the gun didn't even blast. They're like, we didn't know what kind of gun it was because it was completely black. I was like, I used the black marker to take out the orange or red part. I'm like, why do you think I literally killed myself? They're like, Mark, when you were out there, I was convinced you were about to commit suicide. I was like, damn, so I am a good actor. That's interesting. When I motivationally speak, I always keep my camera on the left side. It's good luck. I'm gonna have Navy SEALs protecting me when I become wealthy because it's good luck. I have Navy in my family. I also have Army in my family. But I feel lucky with Navy SEAL 6. They're going to be so expensive to hire retired Navy SEALs, but I love air, water, and land, air, sea, and land. Those abilities to be in a private jet with me, or in a public airport with me, public airline with me, to be frugal. Just don't take first class. Take regular if you fit. Um, Take first class once you save all the miles. But you know what? None of you guys are as frugal as I am. My family is. If you want to be frugal, do not do first class. Wait for the mileage from your credit card. Um, from Chase, for example, to go ahead and do it, which is free. Certain credit cards that they sell there to travel around the world, meaning there's no percentages of like 3% back when I was banking, to show you how to not spend money incorrectly and then make money. So there was this one couple that came to my bank, and they're like, "Oh, what are you into besides banking?" I was like, I told them everything I was into, acting, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, "Well, do you do any music?" I was like, "Well, I've never done any music. I've never learned any instruments because I've never been interested in learning an instrument. I picked up a guitar one day and just lost interest. I was into cuatros, which if you're not Puerto Rican, you don't know what a cuatro is. And a cuatro is, it's not actually 4 strings, which is four, cuatro in Spanish. I think it's like 8 or 12 strings, something like that. And anyway, it sounds silly the way I say it, but when you hear the guitarist, I remember a long time ago, especially before the pandemic, I went to cuatro festivals, and it's basically Puerto Rican nature for them to learn the cuatro and learn how to do the guitar. So they would have kids all the way to adults doing it. And I remember the kids doing it, and it was phenomenal. They had classes here around Humboldt Park, and I'm sure they still do. The pandemic sucks. Delta variant came out. I learned all about Delta variant. They got my 3rd shot. And then I heard about the N-word came out for the virus, and I just I'm not even going to Google it. I don't even want to know the name of it. It's just depressing. And I don't want to be depressed about the coronavirus. To this day, if you don't know, from whatever planet you come from, pandemic started around February, March of 2020, and it's November of 2021, and it's still happening. One of my favorite shows is Jerry Seinfeld, his coffee show, and he's still not doing it because he has to be this close to them in the car, and because he loves small cars, he loves small Porsches and all these other stuff, and he loves being next to the people that he's in the car with, so he doesn't want to die off of the show, which is so disappointing because I love that show. He's very comical. It's hard for me to get into his regular TV show, but he's very comical when it comes to the coffee one. For some reason, I can watch it over and over to just relax me. It's interesting. It's interesting, and it's sad that because of the pandemic, he can't do it. I wonder if he started doing it with the 3rd shot. I know that there's bubbles for people in Hollywood. Jay Chanweth is one of the phenomenal actors / dancers. I posted her several times on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, of course. You name it, I'm there. I think I have 7 apps at this point. So essentially what it is with them is, on TikTok, I do the non-swearing rap. On Instagram, I do the swearing rap. Facebook, I've even stopped going live on there because you can't download anything you do there. They changed it to Meta. They changed it because of the whole conspiracy theory that happened, but it's not a conspiracy theory. It's the person from Harvard that worked for Mark Elliott Zuckerberg, and found out that not only are they making $40 billion a year, but they could care less about the 13 and under. So because she exposed them that way, all of a sudden now he's working on Instagram Kids. You better believe there's an Instagram Kids coming out. I don't work there, but I know there's an Instagram Kids coming out. I know for a fact that there is a TikTok Kids coming out. I know for a fact I've already lost about $4,000 to $6,000 in promotional fees to come back to me as a profit. So I don't know how much I spend. It's usually 50% to get it, but that was a business addiction. I don't have another addiction, or else you wouldn't even see me doing these YouTube videos. I'd be out to get my drug or whatever it is. I'm totally against drugs. If you want to get into methamphetamines, heroin, or coke, you're like my cousin. Um, you know, he was into heroin. He was into going to the west side to get it, to the black neighborhoods to get it. I guess Puerto Ricans were not selling heroin a lot. They were just busy selling crack and coke, and that's weird too. I guess in the black communities, there's more heroin addicts than there are crackheads. I don't know how that works. But anyway, I know West Side niggas, I know South Side niggas, I know North Side niggas. And I say niggas is Niggas. Now, I'm part black, being Puerto Rican, so I can say that any fucking time I want. I was talking to a black in the elevator the other day. He's like, "Oh, what you into?" I'm into rap. I'm into this. I'm into that. He's like, "Oh," I'm like, "What's up with you, nigga?" He's like, "Nah, man, I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Nothing." Never no hesitation for me to use the word nigga with the black, because they know if you Puerto Rican, you part black any motherfucking way. So, and that's a hood way to do it. Now, do I recommend white people to do it? Hell fucking no. You better be a hood nigga to do it if you're white. You better be a hood nigga to do it. I've never heard Asians say it. I've damn sure never heard Muslims say it. Europeans say it. Unless they're racist, then they say it with the ER, you know? But there's racists. There's a KKK guy that I caught here one day. He took off his vest. There was something wrong with his outfit or something. He took off his vest and I saw his swastikas in his back. That was a disturbing day. I was like, well, if he's a KKK member and he lives here full of all these immigrants, he has to be a retired KKK member. But you can cover those tattoos, and he did not. So, whatever. So, it's in his blood. I have several desires for white women, but I have several problems with white women because they have to be completely 100% non-racist, and their whole family would have to be non-racist against blacks and Hispanics for me to deal with them, for me to date them, for example, because I can tell, I can smell racism. It's easy to smell racism for me. So back to acting. So gigs, let me go back to Urban Poet. Urban Poet was a short piece. I went up to like an apartment building by Lawrence and I want to say Ashland to Sheridan, something of that nature. One of those buildings where I just came up, I had to be hood, normal as fuck for me. Gigs, I had to be a hood drug dealer in the movie Gigs. That was easy for me too. To be a hood is easy for me. Wrong to strong. You should not just do hood shit. And the problem you're gonna have is all the tattoos you have. But there's this thing called makeup your wife can do. So you don't have to be a hood nigga. You can be a built Mexican. Just do not take hood nigga shit, because you will be stuck in that role the rest of your life, the rest of your career, if he watches this. Now, the fact is that when you are trying to promote yourself as an actor, and all you do is come off as the hood, or you come off as the comedian, like so many comedians, Jesus Christ, I'm not even gonna name them. Wow, there's so many comedians in Chicago. If you come off as a comedian all the time, or you come off as a romantic comedian, rom-coms, or if you come off as a dramatic actor, it's not hard to be a comedic actor, because we still love to laugh at dramatic actors, because dramatic actors are phenomenal actors. To be a dramatic actor, you either have to be Meisner, highly trained, actor studio, highly trained, or it has to be in your blood to be Gandhi. Like that actor is phenomenal. Either that, or you have to have a history that takes you to a very dark place. When I watched Sicario 2, the one girl there, she's also in Sweet Girl with Aquaman. I was watching her and I was like, man, she's a phenomenal actress, this little girl. I'm like, I don't even know how old she is. I don't even go look it up. I don't need to. I just know she's a phenomenal actress. I'm like, I wonder if she had a dramatic beginning of her life, or she just studied from baby age or something. I mean, I don't know where it comes from, but she's a phenomenal actress, that girl. Sweet Girl on Netflix. Sicario too. And Benicio del Toro taught me a long time ago, Puerto Ricans can be phenomenal actors. He won an Oscar and confirmed it to me. And his speech when winning an Oscar was, my back is hurt. Thank you. That's it, bye. I thought it was hysterical. So his back must have been in a serious amount of pain for him not to do a speech about winning an Academy Award. Do I have a desire to win an Academy Award? Yes and no. Yes, because I want to be recognized one day for being a phenomenal actor. 2, I don't need it to know I'm a phenomenal actor. The only reason I know I'm a phenomenal actor is because I was professionally trained. I practiced for 10 to 12 years. I have this history that is so dynamic that it carries with me. You know, my history haunts me. That's why I'm suicidal. My history is a big freaking secret. Always will be. You know, Kicks D, I know he was afraid to come into my apartment when he was being an F5, but, you know, he did it anyway. I don't know what kind of felony he was fighting. I'm sure he's got arrest on top of arrest on top of arrest on top of arrest. The other guy you could totally tell was a neutron. You can tell the difference between gangbangers and neutrons. And he had a pitchfork tattoo on him. He wouldn't let me see or get close to because I knew it was fake. And I knew he was fake. You know, I knew he was fake from the psych ward. And he was asking me Latin King questions. I was like, how the fuck did he learn about Latin Kings from a neutron? That doesn't make any sense. So a neutron talking to another neutron, learning about Latin Kings, that doesn't make any sense. Like, supposedly you're a D, like, whatever. Anyway, that experience was terrible. True story, my dad didn't even believe I was on it. I told him I was collapsed on the floor for 2 hours. And then I was highly emotional. I said, Dad, when was the last time I wanted to shoot you in the face? He stayed quiet for a few seconds and was like, never. I was like, exactly. When was the last time I wanted to shoot my little sister in the face? He was like, never. And what about my brother-in-law? I wanted to shoot him in the face. It's like, not that I know of. He didn't even say no or never. He just said, not that I know of. So sad. He knows how I feel about my brother-in-law because I can't trust him for nothing with my sister. And I think he did some bad things before they got married. And I think it was the beginning of their relationship. Because 9 times out of 10, the men that you're dating are cheating on you when you start dating them until they fall in love with you. Because then they have no reason to be faithful to you. You know, long story short, if you want to get into acting, it's hard. Hard. You pick the hardest business to get into. You pick the most competitive business you've ever wanted to get into. People are desperate trying to get acting roles. People are frugal or cheap or broke trying to get acting roles. Very few rich people are trying to get an acting roles because they could do it themselves. Now, me, what I'm going to end with is that Tyler Perry has inspired me as a black man that became a billionaire. Oprah Winfrey has inspired me as a black woman that became a billionaire. Because those two blacks, one from Chicago, not born and raised here, and that's not where she's from, but you know, she lived here for so many years doing her Oprah Winfrey show. You know, she taught me, and Tyler Perry taught me, that becoming a billionaire is very, very hard. But if you're motivated, like I am with my mentality, I have a $6,666 mindset an hour mindset. And if you don't have that mindset, then just collect whatever $50 an hour you got, and you're so excited about your $100K a year. You're making $120K a year, so you're excited about that. Wait, I'm a doctor. I'm making several $100,000 a year. I'm a surgeon. I'm making $750,000 to $1 million a year. That's garbage to me. That's junk to me. To me, that's poverty. To me, that's limitation. To me, that's limiting your ability to think. That's limiting your ability to learn from people like me. Um, the only reason I have this billionaire mindset is because of the first murder I witnessed at 9, which I'm going to continue to say 1,000 times. As a kid, at the age of 9, from my living room window, it has traumatized me. You know, post-traumatic stress disorder comes from the murder I witnessed as the age of 9. Trying not to cry about that one. Um, Second murder was me driving around on my bike from Hermosa Park with all the gang bangers running away. It looked like a dozen of them running away back to Hermosa Park. And because there's train tracks there so they could hide and stuff like that. You know, when you're an adult, unless you are very smart, highly intelligent to professionally train yourself, and you're addicted to acting studio books, acting books, Meisner training, things of that nature. Al Pacino book. I have an Al Pacino book here. You know what? Let me get my Al Pacino book. So I just got 3 books. One is this one, to learn about how to get into Hollywood, right? One is this one, The Power of Becoming an Actor. And then this one, okay? If you want to become a phenomenal actor, you better read the right books. If you're just going to read the basic books, I don't even know why you're bothering and wasting your time being an actor. I honestly don't know. If you're just going to read basic books that teach you nothing, essentially what's happening is you're going to learn the Meisner technique. That's going to help you in 1,000 ways. But you're reading the same books that everybody else is reading. So you need to learn how to learn from different actors, like dramatic actors like me. People that read books like those. People that read real books. No one reads real books anymore unless it's on a Kindle. You know, it's so limited the amount of people that I know that actually read real books, and it's usually adults that are very, very, very smart. Like my dad reads real books, my stepmother reads real books, my mom reads real books, my sister reads real books, my stepsister, small sister, she reads real books. She's in high school. You know, I have an intelligent family. I have an intelligent background. Did that help me become intelligent? It probably did, but I was allergic to calculus, and you know what? I was allergic to algebra and geometry before my car accident in 2017, September 15th. And then I became a brainiac. The traumatic brain injury made me not allergic to calculus. I can do it for fun with you right now. Algebra and geometry is probably easy. Do I have any desire to learn the math? No, but I subscribe to one, I think it's called Moo Math on YouTube. I subscribe to very few channels on YouTube, by the way. You want to waste your time, then continue to subscribe to a bunch of channels and not mine. I don't know why, but I don't know why people don't do me that favor. I guess they just want me to pay for it. But then I learned a lot about analytics. So I learned how many thousands of views I get every month. But it always shows like 10, it's probably 100, and 30 is probably 300, and you know, the thousands of people that follow me, it's impossible that I only have, you know, 30 views, 6 views, 10 views. It doesn't make any sense. You know, if I'm putting it on Snapchat with several thousand people on there, if I'm putting it on Instagram with several hundred people, on Facebook with like 1,000 people, I don't know how many followers versus the friends I have. And then, you know, I used to have 1,000 plus friends, but I deleted all of them when I got up to 5,000 because they were all fakes. They're all logos. They're all fake pictures. They're all fake names. It just disappointed me one day. So I decided to delete all my 5,000 friends. Now I like the way meta Facebook is, because Facebook, you actually have to know the people, or they have to know you, meaning they have to be in your contact list, or things of that nature, or they have to be mutual friends or friends that you're with. So I love the way Facebook is designed today. I'm going to be very excited when Instagram Kids comes out for my son. And when TikTok Kids come out, I'll be very excited about that, because TikTok Adults will probably finally be for people like me that love to swear. Swearing is not a good thing. There's this one motivational speaker, I'm not even going to name him. All he does is swear over and over and over and over and over. I mean, repeated swearing. It's like he can't prevent himself to swear. It's disgusting. You know, my dad tries to tell me he has the great knowledge, he has the great information to tell you and show you how to do this and show you how to do that. I'm like, he does or he doesn't. He is disgusting to me. I freaking hate him. I freaking hate him. He's like, well, you don't want to listen to him to learn this and that? I was like, no, send me a different link to somebody else about Etsy and, you know, going to pawn shops and buying stuff and for $1 and selling it for $5 on eBay and, you know, things of that nature. You know, other than that, I have no desire to listen to that guy that just swears over and over again, because it's kind of like, yeah, it's motivating all the stuff you're teaching me, but it's demotivating you swearing constantly. It's just kind of like you have a serious psychological disorder to swear that much. Me, I like to swear, but I don't swear repeatedly. Like, it's just like I swear as it comes out of my body, as the emotion comes out, as I feel it. So, if you don't know anything about acting, I don't know what else to tell you. Would you subscribe to my channel?